Hey there, everybody. Welcome to my channel, The Magical Solution. My name is Leilani, and this is my podcast. This is how we grow. So, tonight I'm really excited to have Shai Tubali on my show. He is the author of the complete guide book to meditation, and it's a comprehensive guide to effective techniques for calming your mind and your spirit. Now, he's written a ton of other books, of course, but tonight we're going to be talking and focusing much more on the subject of meditation. But before we bring him on, let's get to know him a little bit. So, Shai Tubali is an internationally renowned author, speaker, and innovator in the field of inner transformation and personal development. He has developed a unique, holistic approach to helping others self actualize and become the best versions of themselves possible from physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual angles. Shai's approach weaves together a tapestry of thought and tradition from psychology, philosophy, medicine, yoga tradition, Eastern thought and practices, and the most advanced scientific research. Shai was born in Israel and has lived in Berlin for a decade. He's trained Yogi with 18 years of study in the field of Eastern thought and yogic traditions. He's a multi award winning author of numerous best selling books. And ever since he achieved a revelation at the age of 23, he has dedicated his life to helping others live deeper lives and reveal the hidden potential of their hearts, minds, and bodies. And he's currently completing his PhD in philosophy in the field of mysticism, self transformation, Western philosophy at the University of Leeds in the UK. So, of course, without further ado, let's bring him on.
Hello.
Hi.
What a lovely introduction. Just one correction.
Do it, please.
Already completed my PhD. So
Congratulations!
just 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you.
And I
Thank you.
also hear that not only have you completed your PhD, but you've also come up with methods that current psychologists and psychotherapists actually incorporate into their methods. Is that true?
Yeah, that is completely true. Yes, these are methods that are what I regard as psycho-spiritual, because they're just on the border between therapy and spirituality. They use meditation for the sake of emotional transformation. So that's why I think therapists are interested in them.
Yes, very much so. And now that, especially in the West, now that we're moving towards a more holistic approach, you're seeing so many psychotherapists with a lot of like interesting and really new agey kind of backgrounds, and they're so well informed about Eastern philosophies and meditation and things like that. So it is really beautiful to finally see on, on this side of the world, right?
Right. I think it's because we are realizing that we're missing something. You see, we
Yes.
have research skills, we have a tremendous cognitive capacities, we have the ability to search for and create a highly effective methods that influence our lives for the better. But there is something missing, and it is happiness, profound happiness. And we're realizing that we can't achieve this type of happiness, this elusive happiness, through our familiar methods. So then we need to expand our view and our knowledge.
Right. And this idea, that's funny. It's funny that you say that, because here in the West, it's very much like happiness is some sort of destination, some sort of place that we need to be at, some sort of mindset that we need to arrive to. And it's just so interesting that now that we're incorporating much more of these Eastern philosophies, it's really more so about the journey. It's more so that happiness is sort of weaved in, and we need to find those moments. So that's interesting that you brought that up.
Yes, that's beautiful. Let me even be more daring, and I
Yeah.
would say that for most of us, happiness is something that we forever wait for, something that is always just around the corner, but
Yeah.
is never truly graspable. So what
Yeah.
we do is that we keep waiting for it. It's always tomorrow. We're always in a project of self-improvement.
Mm.
We're just uh, uh, almost about to complete this type of project and achieve this kind of perfection and wholeness and joy, but it forever eludes us. And the thing,
Facts.
yes, and what Eastern philosophy and practice, meditation in particular, tell us is that meditation is not only just achieved through specific moments, but that it is forever here, just under our nose.
Mm.
Happiness is in the here and now. Happiness is when we stop searching for happiness, when we stop waiting, and when we are really looking into the nature of this moment.
Yes. Like,
Hmm.
stop looking for your keys and they will just show up. But it's true though.
That's
That's so
exactly.
funny. But so like Earth is almost like it's almost like this educational ground that we're all just sort of fumbling around trying to learn and trying to attain. And this book here, the complete book of meditation, and this idea of meditation, I think is a great place to sort of start. When
Hmm.
I teach my classes on spiritual anatomy and like the first couple of
Oh.
steps, oh yeah, the first couple of
Hmm.
steps of a mystic's journey, you can't bypass the meditation part. Like that is like day one, number one, step one. And here in your book, it's interesting because not only do you kind of break down meditation as well, but you also do it through the chakras,
Right.
which is nice.
Hmm.
Now, before we get into the
Yes.
juice of this book, I need to ask you a question, a very important question.
Yes.
So, here in America, which is so sad, and this is something I'm hoping we get over soon. When people think of meditation, they immediately think of the yogi in like this,
Hmm.
cross-legged style with his fingers in a mudra, going and just going hardcore for like an hour.
Right.
And here
Exactly.
in America, we're like, no, we can't do that. So like, is there an alternative? So my question to you
Hmm.
is, is that meditation, or is meditation so much more diverse than just that?
Well, here you're hitting the point because this is the thing. It's a this is why I created this book. This is why I wrote this book. Partly to demonstrate that meditation is so much more than what we think meditation is. You see, because we think that meditation is indeed this kind of cross-legged, closed-eyed, serene-looking posture,
Right.
and then it seems so intimidating and also so far away from life.
Yeah.
But first of all, we need to understand that there is a vast range of meditation practices, which is what is called dynamic meditations. And
Okay.
dynamic meditations are a lot of fun, and I would recommend that people start with this type of meditation rather than the closed-eyed
Can you give us
type of
some examples
meditation.
of
Of course,
dynamic? Yeah.
of course, yes. Well, first of all, there is the set of meditations developed by the 20th century mystic Osho. His dynamic meditations include, for instance, there is what is called Mystic Rose. Mystic Rose appears in the book in
Mm.
much shorter version because it is sometimes a therapeutic process lasting 3 weeks. But here it's just 1 hour. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a great adventure because you start by laughing uncontrollably for 20 minutes.
That's
This
easy for
means
me.
that, oh, that's so you're fortunate. So
I'm a
so you
giggler.
you because you need to find this thread of inner laughter that is always there, but because there is this type of unconditional smile or unconditional laughter that we have buried deep inside our being. So we need to find it, and then we follow that thread. Even at the beginning, it is a little artificial.
Right.
Slowly it becomes natural and even hilarious and uncontrollable. Then you continue by delving into 20 minutes of tears. You are
Mm.
finding those tears, this buried sadness, sometimes sadness related to your own life, but very often sadness in relation to the world, in relation to other people. So then you begin to cry, and you achieve a profound type of catharsis until you feel that you're dissolving all kinds of barriers and the wall that we've erected around our heart.
Yes, it's
and
like an
and
emptiness that feels good.
exactly. So
Mm.
now try to imagine what it feels like after 20 minutes of laughter and 20 minutes of tears. Now the thing
Wow.
is that tears and laughter, as we know from our own direct experience in life, they are like complementary halves, right?
Yes.
In one day we can laugh, we can cry, we can be distressed, we can be overjoyed. So pleasure and pain are like two, were like a pair of opposites, but also complementary halves.
Yes.
So what happens is that after you've cried and laughed, you have transcended these pair of opposites, and you reach a certain state of natural, effortless silence. This is what Osho
Mm.
calls the witnessing state. This means that you're just observing, and the beautiful thing is that this silence is now the result of this type of catharsis and not some kind of forced silence. You don't need to
Yeah.
be in silence, but you are now effortlessly, abundantly
Yeah.
still. You see? So
Yeah.
so so these are the last 20 minutes. So this is an example of a 1 hour meditation which leads you to silence without the effort of putting yourself into silence. And
Mm.
in the same way, you have dance meditation and you have shaking meditation, when you shake your entire body until you allow the ripples, the currents of what is called Kundalini
Mm.
to begin to rise from your lower spine. So these are just examples, but when you're realizing that this is what meditation can be, you don't even have to have the ability to concentrate fully for a sufficient amount of time.
Wow.
You see?
Yeah. But even here's the thing. So even
Yes.
describing that though, like even that still sounds like, and I don't want to make this sound like it's a bad thing because it's not, but
Yes.
it does still sound like work and effort in the beginning, because like you were saying, it may seem a little kind of contrived at first, and then we call it fake it till you'll make it. Fake it till you make it. And it's like this idea that you have to first try and put the effort in to like
Right.
manifest an emotion, if you will, and then
Mm.
allow yourself to sort of like surrender to that emotion so that it can be. And I think there's what it's so tough for a lot of people because number one, surrendering to an emotion or even trying to fake an emotion, people are so caught up in how they look, how they are perceived, even to their own selves.
Right.
There's this sort of blockage of like, I must look silly doing this, or I must look whatever. So you see these sort of internal blockages that we put on ourselves,
Mm.
the blockages that we project onto others that we think are putting onto us. And then once you get past all that, then it's this idea of, okay, this is the consequence of just finally letting it all go, which is something that was there the whole time, the
Yes. Yes.
silence,
Yes.
the
Yes.
peace.
Yes. Yes.
But
Yes.
it just seems like so many steps, like even just describing that from a person who comes from a place of trauma, or for a person who comes from a place of very ill sort of attention,
Yes.
even those steps
Yes. Yes.
seem
Yes.
so hard. So is
Yes.
there something simpler? Is there something else we could try?
Yes, I love your question. Yes, first of all, I want to say that there are forms or versions of meditation practices that work like appetizers. You see, this means that 5 minute there are 5 minute meditation techniques. I've just recently published an article titled "The 5 minute Meditation Revolution," because
Nice.
now we have research backing the fact that even just 5 minute meditation a day can actually work wonders.
Yes.
It helps us to relieve stress significantly, and it helps us to increase our ability to cope with emotional challenges. So just 5 minutes meditation, and many of the meditations that are presented in the book, including the classical meditation techniques, for instance, mindfulness of breathing, or walking meditation, or standing meditation, or body scan, they all have a 5 minute version.
Yes.
Now, there are some who have even went as far as suggesting a 1 minute meditation, which is also effective. So the most important thing is to remember, because even if you just send yourself friendly reminders via your phone, uh, to meditate every single hour, every round hour, for just 1 minute.
Yes.
This just disengaging your mind, disengaging your being from your thoughts and emotions, which is what meditation is all about, for 1 minute, is actually dramatically meaningful. So
Yes.
this is the one thing that we need to remember. If you just, and it works as an appetizer, because as soon as you've tasted this wonderful taste of meditative stillness, of this feeling of being completely relieved of problem consciousness, of
Mm.
having this feeling that there is nothing to fix, nothing to improve, that you are perfectly all right as you are. You see, it's the meditation is the most profound form of self-acceptance. It's
Mm.
really freeing yourself from self-image, and so on and so on. Now, the last thing I want to say about this is that you were mentioning the fact that there are some blockages, right? For instance, we have this kind of this kind of critical voice telling us, look how you look right now. Look at yourself, you're so ridiculous, crying and laughing and all that. Where is your aren't you ashamed of yourself, all that. Now
All of it.
the thing is that we need to understand that meditation is not just about removing these voices, but about becoming aware of them. You see, we need
Mm.
to embrace also the obstacles and all the things that come up to the surface of our mind while meditating as a part of the practice. This
Right.
means that you finally get to understand why it is that you can't be silent, why it is that you're unfocused or disturbed. We usually
Mm.
don't pay this profound attention to those thoughts behind our thoughts,
Right.
emotions behind our emotions, that actually govern our moods and make us feel bad, even when we simply have no idea why we're feeling so bad. You see?
Exactly. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and after a while, they fester and become these little monsters that just weigh on your back, like these little monkeys that you just have to get rid of, you know?
Exactly.
Now in your book, in this book, you decided to take the route of the chakras,
Right.
as a way of sort of coming to. And it's interesting though, because before you even get to the chakras, you do acknowledge that there is a little bit of discipline involved. Like, there should be something to be said about your posture. There should be something said about the aesthetics of your environment and noise and distractions and things like that. There should be something said about, what your intention is going out or going in and going out. So with these kind of disciplines, as you were mentioning before with the 1 minute meditations, you, they're not just appetizers. These are little practices of building good habits and building that
Mm,
discipline that you need,
mm,
because as you go through those 1 minutes, you start to realize, oh, I need to sit up straight a little bit more, or oh, I need to maybe put on some candles and dim some lights, or oh, I need to, every time you do it, even if it's just in your car, your alarm goes off and you say, I just want to take a breath for a minute,
right, right,
you
right,
know?
right.
So building these disciplines, I guess my question to you is, if you were to do kind of like a quick 5-step thing of what should be step 1, step 2, step 3 of g- starting a meditative practice, what would that look like?
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, yes. This is an important point, because it's true that sometimes we feel that meditation should become a habit. I
Mm,
don't think so. You see, I
okay.
don't think that we have to discipline ourselves to a degree that now we meditate every day for 1 hour, for half an hour, or something like that. I think that our journey into the meditative world needs to start in a very enjoyable way. This means because you see there are 35 meditations presented in this book, and of course there are many more that are not presented in this book. I've just selected the most classical ones, the ones that represent the best of each tradition in the world. But the thing is that meditation should be an enjoyable experience, and for this reason we need to begin to take a look at the list of meditations and to see what draws us to experiment with it, what seems enjoyable, fascinating, adventurous, curious. You see,
Mm,
we don't, it's not, meditation is not about choosing the right meditation. it's
mm,
about it's about what I feel like trying. It's almost like trying a certain recipe, you see, trying to make a dish, a new dish. and
yeah.
then and then when you enjoy, when you experiment with meditation, and you keep, by the way, in this way, your sacral chakra awake and alive, because it is the adventure chakra, it is the joy chakra.
Yes.
So because it's very important to keep that alive, then at a certain point you will find yourself naturally attracted to specific types of meditation, because your body will tell you to return to it, your mind will long for it, your heart
Mm,
will miss it. You see, it will become some kind of a satisfying, clearly nourishing element in your life. So
mm,
so I feel that meditation is more like a love affair than
mm,
a disciplined practice. It's what your heart loves, because it has tasted this delicious delicious silence and relief.
yeah.
You see.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so, so this is what I would say. Start by experimenting. Don't look for the right meditation. Don't look for this kind of rigid yogi who will tell you this is the best meditation for everyone. Meditate it until you breathe your last. You see, I think this is good for traditions, and when you are an ardent believer in some sort of guru or religion. But for us, we need to enjoy the fact that the all the religions and traditions secrets are laid bare before us, and we can now start experimenting and find those meditations that are individually suited for us, but also that suit our particular stage of development and our particular needs right now, because this might
Oh,
change in
I'm
the
so glad you
future.
said that.
You see? Why?
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad that you said that, because that's what it's all about. This development, the spiritual development. And the truth of the matter is we are all at different stages. There is no one way. And even the Buddha said himself, he's like, I'm not coming back, or like I'll come back every single time until we're all finally like at that place, but like right now we're not. So it's I think it's interesting, and I love what you were saying about, following the joy and following sort of that inquisitive, that curiosity, that sort of childlike wonder. Because when you do that, when you sort of approach it from this sort of, it's like it's an autonomous choice. So whether it ends up not being the meditation that you want, or whether it ends up being the one that works out for you, either way, there's going to be a sense of, I chose that. And okay, so it didn't work out, but it was an experience. And that still draws you in. And so when you were speaking about sort of that, childlike, joyful approach, I swear it's like you were like, when I was looking at you, you were just glowing, because that's exactly what I talk about all the time. My favorite color is yellow, the sacral chakra, this idea of joy, always smiling and laughing. That's basically just who I am in a nutshell. And so to function from that place is wonderful. And it's one of those things where, like, when you actually stop and slow down, it's such a you were talking about a delicious silence, but for me, I think it's more like an ocean wave, because it does ebb and it flows, and no matter how it ebbs and flows, even if it crashes or even if it's a little aggressive, it's still really just beautiful and peaceful, kinda like a thunderstorm. Um, for people though, I'm curious how seeking actually, you know what? Let me answer it. Let me ask it this way. Here's a better way of asking this question. When you say sort of this ultimate silence, this delicious silence that's kind of always there, and we kind of just need to open ourselves to it and kind of just accept the fact that it's always there. What exactly are you referring to that thing that's always there? Because, when we think about it, um when the people that I surround myself with think about it, they think about love or God, or like a divine thing, or even the 0 point scale where everything is all one at one point, that subatomic place, that Planck scale, if you will. But what is it in Eastern philosophy? What is that stillness that we all are engaged in constantly, that we need to be aware of?
Yes. Well, first of all of these realizations, revelations that you just described, the God, or the 0 point, or love, they are all realizations accessible to us through meditation. Because what meditation actually does, meditation is not one thing, not even in terms of realization. It's not that just meditation leads you to one realization. It is a facilitator. It creates
Oof.
the perfect conditions for a great variety of realizations. So
Yes.
sometimes you will sit and you will have this kind of discovery of the nature of life as love. You see, and you will become permeated with this love, and you will know that love is the building block of every cell of your body and every molecule in space, and that would be, of course, amazing. And then you will have this kind of sense of descending grace, which is what some, like the Holy Ghost, or the Holy Spirit. And
Yeah.
sometimes you will have ecstasy. You will experience ecstasy or joy, or you tap into the sense of your inner child, which has been buried beneath the social layers, and so on and so on. So meditation is just a facilitator.
Ah, I
and
love
and
that.
and what we do is that all we need to do for meditation, and we need to understand, we're just one thought away from all these things.
Oh,
Just one thought away. It's not that we need to travel that far for it. Just one thought away. So what we do in meditation, we simply learn, in whatever form we do this, we learn to gently disengage our being from our familiar thoughts and emotions, and we create a certain space. In this space, our consciousness is finally, in a way, liberated and is free to tour the universe, and to tour the universe within and to tour the universe without.
Yes.
So then one of the realizations is this kind of silence being like the ground of the ocean. You see, it's like you're descending slowly and softly and gently. You're just simply falling into something that is already the ground of your mind and also the ground of the universe. Now we have a hint. There is this kind, when we look up at the night sky, or just at the vast blue sky, we have this kind of reflection of our own inborn state, which is like the sky that can accommodate clouds, but is never shaped by the clouds, right? Or outer space that contains numerous stars, but outer space is still space, right? So in the very same way, we have a sky in us, or we have outer space in us,
Or the
and
deep ocean.
yes, or the deep ocean. Exactly. We have all these natural phenomena to remind us of our own gorgeous reality.
Yes. And those revelations that meditation facilitates, those will be based on your spiritual development and where you are at any given time, and what your mind needs to tell you, or what spirit needs to tell you. Because
Oh,
again, it's like
wonderful.
it's one of
Yes.
those, again, it's like who is doing the talking here? Like when you go into this space and things get revealed, or things fall away, whatever you decide, who's making those? Is it you? Is there something external happening? Is there a playfulness happening between the two that then results? Like, what's going on? And I think, I don't know if even you or the Buddha has that answer. I don't even know. I think it's just it's mysterious. It really is a mysterious phenomenon how that works.
How that works? Do you mean what works? How our own natural flow works?
Yeah, how our own, like when we start to move into a meditative state and allow that facilitation to occur, whatever means to an end, or whatever end we end up at,
Yes,
whether
yes,
it
yes,
be a
yes, 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 yes.
stillness, or whether it
Oh,
be a
yes, yes, yes,
revelation
yes, yes.
or something, like
Exactly.
who or what or where does that, who makes that decision, if you will?
Oh, wow, what an amazing point. Yes, now I understand it. Because this is the thing you see in meditation, also of course in other deeper practices. Although I think all deeper practices should be considered meditation,
Yeah.
broadly speaking. So basically, these practices, these meditative practices, what they do is that they enable us to begin to collaborate with this all-organizing intelligence, with this mystery that knows how to create stars, how to create trees, how to give rise to universes. We have no idea how,
Right.
but we can at least have our
Share
mind.
space for a moment.
Yes, exactly. Be in a state of communion with
Yeah.
this kind of unknown and also and even unknowable force. Now,
Yeah.
just one thing that I want to mention, because you mentioned before that it depends on our level of development, or where we are, or how far we've gone,
Come, or
we've
even our
traveled in our.
intention.
But the beautiful thing is that there is what I call the honeymoon, and yes, and the honeymoon that we experience with this unknown is that oftentimes what happens is that we are barely beginners in
Mm.
meditation, and we just innocently starting to meditate, and we are permeated with or penetrated by profound realization that usually takes place only in very advanced meditators. Now,
Mm.
why is that? This is because it's like a signal from the universe telling us, come to me. You see,
Yeah.
perhaps after this signal, we will need to take a more difficult or challenging journey for a while, not finding this kind of immense realization again, and
Yeah.
only longing for it. But we will know in our heart of hearts that it is there. You see, we
Yes.
will know that it is real. And when you know that it is real, you finally have this kind of light illuminating your way.
Yes. I love it. I'm sorry, I'm just in awe. I love the way you explain things. It's very poetic, and I'm,
Mm.
like, totally in love with you. So in this book, though, like, why did you choose to take the method of the chakra to
Mm.
facilitate a meditative practice? What's so important about the chakras?
Well, first of all, to be honest, I use chakras for any kind of model or map of development. You see, or
Mm. It's a
because
very easily digestible, it's easily
yes,
understood. It is.
it is, but it is also, I think, well, chakras are so intuitive because they're the only system that is not theoretical at all. This is not a concept. Chakras
Oh,
are embedded in our body. You see, so when you speak about chakras and or you model things after chakras, then people identify it in their bodies. They
back.
feel it. They feel it from within their chakras. You see,
Yes.
so the beautiful thing is that, and one of the most genius things that we've been given by this kind of all-organizing, mysterious, unknowable source of life are chakras,
Yeah.
because we have been given this kind of inner map with which we can navigate our entire complexity. So then, using this very same complexity, we can observe the world of meditation, because the world of meditation is so vast and complex and sometimes confusing. But then we can discern certain patterns or shared purposes of some of the meditations. You see,
Mm.
so some meditations are easily identifiable as joy enhancing meditation, or meditations that promote our life force, and this would be sacral chakra meditations. Now, of course, this doesn't, we shouldn't limit these meditations to just one purpose. This is not fair, or just one chakra, because, and this is the beautiful thing, every meditation awakens all our chakras.
Mm.
This is the amazing thing. Chakras immediately respond as a symphony, an inner symphony. They immediately respond. They become aligned. They become like one continuum
Yes.
of harmony in response to silence, to stillness, to relaxation, to deep peace. But some meditations emphasize or focus on opening just one center of our being. And it is very clear that this is what they do. For
Mm.
instance, if you take loving kindness meditation, the Buddhist loving kindness meditation, this is clear that what this meditation does mainly is challenge the boundaries of our heart, and 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 allow our heart's immensity, innate immensity, to be revealed, because it is
Mm.
right now dormant, but it is always there. Our heart is as big as the universe. We
Mm.
just we just don't experience that because it has become so contracted as a result of life's blows and disappointments.
Facts. I'm glad you brought that up. Is is our body,
Hmm.
energetic body, is our energetic body prone to challenges and obstacles that we therefore have to meditate on or meditate away or meditate through in order for the original piece? So if a blockage or a challenge towards love or a trauma that is surrounded, that hits your heart chakra, it to in order to move through that, it has to be there in the first place. Like, in order to get to that love, it has to kind of be there in the first place. So my question to you is
Hmm.
trauma or obstacles necessary in order for the revelations to happen? Or is it possible for someone to go through life completely unscathed and still reach a meditative epiphany, if you will?
Hmm.
Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
this is an interesting question. Let's open it up. Do
Yeah.
you mean that sometimes when we have this kind of basis of trauma, then the meditative breakthrough is made possible as a result of overcoming this trauma, or right?
Pretty much, because in the spiritual
Hmm.
community, there's this really strange egoistic clout that people love to talk about, which is you can't be spiritual without having gone through something, without having been traumatized to then pull yourself up
Oh,
out
yes,
of.
yes, yes.
And to me, I find that to be offensive because, again, trauma is very different for every person. Some person's threshold might be a lot lower than another person's threshold, whereas, a paper cut might be
Mm, mm,
horrible to one person versus a
mm.
knife, right? So, my whole thing is with meditation and a lot of times when we speak about meditation, there's a lot of like, oh, break through these obstacles to allow this particular thing to open up, or challenge these
Mm.
ideas in order for this crown to open up. So I'm wondering if that language that we use to describe some of our meditative states, is that necessary? Like, do we need to have trauma or something to break through?
Oh, that's a very intelligent question. Yes, yes, I understand. Very perceptive. Well, first of all, you are observing correctly that we live in a trauma oriented or trauma governed paradigm. You see, nowadays everyone is talking about trauma and about overcoming trauma, which is good because it is good that we have been able to arouse this kind of sensitivity to dark regions of our experience as humans. But what is important, first of all, is to understand one, well, in past traditions of meditation, where meditative breakthrough have been completely possible, there has never been even a slight talk about trauma. You see,
Mm,
no, nobody even considered trauma. Interestingly, what they actually considered was karma, and karma is very different from trauma because karma is the damage that you cause to others rather
mm,
than the damage that has been caused to you by others. You see, so it's
mm.
not about growing sensitivity toward your own hurts, but actually being able to take responsibility for the suffering you have caused others.
Nice.
So I very often remind that to people because I get the feeling that we overemphasize that, and as a result, we become hypersensitive. You see, and we even begin, as you say, to look for those traumas, for these deeply buried traumas, and sometimes even trying to to craft a narrative
Yeah.
that will reaffirm that we have indeed been traumatized. Now,
Yeah.
so no, we don't need this kind of major darkness in order to make a major meditative breakthrough. And but we have all been somehow affected by life's blows and disappointments.
Of
we are
course.
all we all need to learn how to find this kind of unbreakable point within us. Now,
Yes.
what is important to understand about trauma and meditation is that meditation is actually a great healer of trauma.
Right.
Do you want to discuss that?
Sure. I mean, we totally can. I mean, because I think the reason why it's so important, because you said it before. You said it before. You said, sometimes when you go into these states, or when you take this path of meditation, sometimes those traumas reveal themselves. So like my mama always says, don't go looking for trouble. Trouble's already there. Trouble will find you just fine. Don't go looking for it. Don't go making it up. Don't go doing nothing like that. And it's
Wonderful.
true, when you're in those meditative states, like you were saying, if you were to go through each chakra one at a time, something I'm pretty sure will be revealed in each chakra that you got an issue with.
Right.
Whether, you know what I mean? Whether you were
Of
aware
course.
of it or not.
Of
So,
course.
like, don't make a big deal out of it.
That's a wonderfully balanced perception. I'm relieved to hear that, I admit.
So,
Yes,
so
yes.
with this, I'm telling you, you guys, this is definitely an amazing book to have. It's a wonderful reference guide. I mean, it's got charts in here, it's got exercises in here. Now here's something that when I read a little bit about it, I was like, what? The big and the small silence.
Hmm.
What's that all about? Talk to us. The big and the small silence.
Yes, that's a good point, which I love talking about. Well, small silence, small silence. Let's start with the small one. It's the self-made silence. What is self-made silence? Is the difference between a plastic flower and real flower. Now,
Mm,
plastic flower. This means that I see it and I try to reach some kind of a controlled state of silence. You see, I'm trying to experience silence, and this silence is experienced something that is opposed to my thoughts or to my feelings. So it's the opposite of my thoughts and feelings. It's some kind of an island that I've created inside, and it's also easily gone because it's something that I've created, and I'm
mm.
trying to capture, to hold on, to get hold of, and to not let go of.
That's
You
interesting.
see,
That's how a lot of people perceive meditation to be. Yeah.
right, and that's the, I think, this was my own joyful revelation when I was at the age of 23. I remember so, or 22. I remember so clearly, so vividly, how I was walking on the street, and suddenly it dawned on me that this silence is not something that I need to create, because it is somehow the ground, or the natural state of my mind, which means that I only need to relax myself into.
That's it.
Now, this is very, very easily understandable when you consider for a moment our talk. Right now we are talking so enthusiastically, but our voices, our sounds cannot be even heard, or become comprehensible without a certain background of silence. So this means that our words, the sounds we make, the sounds of the world, they take place against the backdrop of stillness. So there is
Yeah.
always some stillness that enables us to become conscious of noise. Now
And that's the
this
big silence. That's
exactly.
the deep ocean.
Beautiful. Yes, yes. It's
Love
the
it.
silence. It's the silence that there was a mystic called Jiddu Krishnamurti, a 20th century great mystic, and he used to say, "This is, you simply tap into the meditation of the universe." So
Yes.
now try to think for a moment. Now you're entering meditation. Instead of trying to think that you are going to enforce silence to be some kind of temporary state within your being, you're thinking, now I'm tuning my mind and my heart into the cosmic silence. You see, it's like
Yeah.
a radio station. I only need to tune in very softly,
Tune
and here
in.
it is. Here is the radio station of silence. And
Yes.
that's this means, this implies a peaceful state, a relaxed state that is not searching, but only relaxes, eases itself into a natural state.
Yes. Have you ever been in an ocean and like a current takes you away, or like you can feel a current near your leg or something?
Yes.
A lot of times I feel that way about meditation too, where like
Oh,
sometimes you're just
mm,
swimming and you just when you tune in, it's like getting caught up in that current and allowing it to sort of just take you where it takes you, which is just it's such a beautiful thought. In my practice, in espiritismo and in a few other practices that I engage in, this idea of going with the flow or going with the current, or simply just they call what's the right way of saying this? It's almost like a decompression or I wish I could describe it better. It's not a great description, but it's very similar to what you're talking about, this
Right,
idea of kind
right,
of tuning in and tuning
right,
out.
right.
I love that. Oh my
Right.
god, Shai, this show is pretty much already over, and I'm so
Oh.
bummed. This was such a beautiful conversation. I swear I could talk to you forever. The way you speak, the way you describe things, it's just so beautiful and poetic, and I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope you come back.
Oh, with great joy. It has been a sheer delight
Oh, that's so
to be with you.
wonderful. So, I mean, listen, we've got a few minutes left. You might as well tell people, what it is that you're up to, how they can reach you. Do you have any new projects? Like, what's going on in the life of Dr. Let's get it right, y'all. Dr. Shai Tubali.
Well, as always, plenty of books in being prepared for publication, and one of them is a development of a chakra method that I created years ago, called chakra types, the 7 chakra personality types, and this is a book I'm really excited about. And if anyone is interested in learning more about my work, you can simply, you're welcome to my official website, which is Shai Tubali, ShaitUbali.com.
Yep.
And there you will find plenty of blog articles, but also upcoming events. And then there is also my YouTube channel, also under my name, which contains hundreds of videos, including guided meditations, explanations about how we can incorporate the meditative perspective into our daily life, and so on and so on. So I think that's the YouTube channel is the best way to become familiar with my work.
And I can vouch for that. I've been watching a lot of his videos, and
Oh,
it's
thank
true.
you.
It's true. So all of that information, all of those links, and also where you can buy this wonderful book will be in the description box below. Make sure you check that out. Now, Shai, before we get going, are there any last words that you'd like to say to our audience, to the people who are going to be watching on the replay? Any last words for us?
Okay, I will just say something. One last thing about trauma and about meditation. You are one of the things that we need to learn about meditation is that it takes us to a place, not to a healing of trauma, but to a place in which we have never been traumatized. We have never been hurt, never been damaged. And this is, I think, the greatest factor of trauma healing is when you are realizing, wait, there is a place in me, a space in me, particularly in the deepest core of my heart, that has actually been remained unaffected. And that's so in a way I'm healed, because there is a part of me that doesn't need to be healed. And that's, I think, a tremendous meditative revelation.
Why you gotta do this to me, guy? Why do you gotta do this? Why? That was honestly exactly what I needed to hear. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the audience needed to hear that. So thank you. So
Thank
you
you.
guys, yeah. Wow. Wow, that is like, whoa. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you purchase this book. Make sure you go to shaitubali.com and to his YouTube channel. You definitely won't regret it. And to Shai, one more time, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you do it
Thank you.
again. Thank you to everyone who showed up and who will be watching on the replay. Remember, this is how we grow. Have a good night, everybody.